Welcome back. A suburban state representative is fighting for more protection for first responders and elected officials after a local man was charged with making death threats. The bill was presented ahead of the deadly attack in Minnesota that took the life of a state representative and her husband and seriously injured a state senator and his wife. The bill's sponsor, State Representative Nicole Laha, joins us now. Good morning, Nicole.
Good morning. How are you?
Good. So how does this legislation that you are sponsoring work?
The bill is called House Bill 1468, and it's called the Public Safety and Justice Privacy Act, and it's modeled after the Judicial Privacy Act. And basically what it is, it's an attempt to protect personal information like your home address or your phone number, and it creates a process where we can request that government agencies don't share those things.
What prompted you to propose this type of legislation?
Unfortunately, when you're a public official, you definitely get a lot of personalities and a lot of very passionate people. But when they start to cross the line and they turn into threats on you or your family, you start to think of how you can protect your children and your family. And, we shouldn't have to choose between serving our communities and protecting our family. But I think this is definitely just a basic line of protection that I can do to help the situation. And it's not just me. Unfortunately, we're seeing an uptick, across the state and obviously in the nation.
I'm sure since you had your situation, you spoke to other members of the General Assembly about this. In speaking to them, have they said that this is a pretty big issue for them as well?
Yeah, absolutely. Unfortunately, when this did happen for the second time to me, and this was a little bit bigger of a case, I had so many people, on both sides of the aisle reaching out. And, obviously I'm not the first that this has happened to. So, yeah, somehow along the way, our culture has allowed for elected officials or public servants, for that matter, to be dehumanized in the name of politics. And I think that's extremely dangerous.
Has the legislation received support?
Yeah, I think when I first presented the bill, it was kind of like, oh, great, that's a good bill. But now I think, unfortunately, with what happened in Minnesota, and my sincere condolences. I think this has shown how real this danger has become.
When might it be taken up by the House, you think?
I'm hopeful for veto. I'm working with, people on both sides of the aisle, and we all see the need and the seriousness of this situation and the urgency to try to give us some more common sense privacy protections.
Yeah.
And, this isn't just for members of the General Assembly. This bill includes first responders, prosecutors, public defenders, probation officers. So I'm hopeful that we can get the ball rolling.
All right. Representative Laha, thanks again.
Thank you so much.